What's up, everyone? Thomas here with For Real. And as you know, we here at For Real are pretty avid about covering film festivals. So when I heard about the inaugural edition of the Vancouver Greek Film Festival happening this month, I had to take a look into that and see what that was all about. So I ended up getting a couple colleagues on the line so that we could discuss it. From the For Real team, we have Todd on the line in Vancouver. Good to have you here, Todd. And frequent flyer on For Real video content, we have Taylor Baker from Drinking the Movies in Seattle.
Haven't seen you in a couple days.
In a couple days. That long, huh? I think we were just talking about how frequently we do this. That's funny. So before we get started, I do want to, and I'm sure Taylor will join me in giving a big shout out to publicist and friend Inez Min for reaching out to us about this festival.
Perhaps the GOAT.
That's for real. We both have appreciated working with her during the Vancouver International Film Festival, and we're just delighted to hear about this new Vancouver-based film festival from her. So Inez, thank you for reaching out to us about this, and we really appreciate our work with you.
I echo all those sentiments.
Very cool. All right, well, what are your guys' thoughts about the film festival? There's some information that I want to give, but let's just talk about our impressions and maybe what we're interested in with the festival real quick.
Yeah, it's a eclectic selection, obviously. I think they're very carefully curated titles to really give you like a overhaul or a redistributed overview of what Greek cinema has meant, and it notably is omitting perhaps the biggest name in Greek cinema, which I brought up earlier to you guys, Yorgos Lanthimos. And so removing kind of the big auteur and just focusing on some of these more well-established films and films from the diaspora of Greek, especially to Vancouver, in the film Greek to me is very interesting.
Yeah. Todd, what do you think?
Oh, I agree. I'm a little more on the thank God they're leaving out Yorgos Lanthimos from the discussion because I'm not a huge fan of his films, and as far as I can remember in my lifetime, or even in just like the history canon of film, there have been like two big Greek filmmakers, and that's Theo Angelopoulos and Yorgos Lanthimos. And so to have a Greek film festival in which new films are playing as well as old pieces that have been restored to not be from either of those two filmmakers, I think is really important, because Greek film has been really monopolized, especially this century, by one filmmaker. And so, yeah, it's exciting stuff.
You know, I agree. I think this festival is going to be a massive learning experience for me, because Greek film is an area that I need a lot of education on, right? Like I think this is a blind spot that I'm really happy to finally be exposed to, and locally, right? Like I love supporting film and film festivals that take place in Vancouver, and so I really appreciate this mission of like reimagining or helping everyone like reimagine what Greek cinema is, and kind of reestablish that, so that when you mention Greek film, it's not just like this archaic type of filmmaking or this really old style of film that just doesn't have anymore. That's not the case. And so we have this Greek Film Festival to help remind us of that and put great movies on display. So yeah, it's an interesting festival. So there are I guess I should mention the dates, because if you want to go to this, you should probably know what dates they're happening. So the Vancouver Greek Film Festival is happening from June 16th to June 19th, and it's a festival that is being put on by the Hellenic Canadian Congress of BC and the Cinematheque Theater in downtown. And so I think it's a great partnership for putting this on, and it's nice. These weekend long festivals are kind of a nice change of pace from these week and a half, 2 week long festivals that we do. So yeah, they have the lineup online, and I'll put the link in the description, bio, whatever we're going to call it. And yeah, I think it's worth checking out and being a part of.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like you can almost see every single movie concurrently, except for, what is it, on the 18th, you have to make a choice between Digger or The Distance Between Us and the Sky. I'm a little bit
Oh.
foggy on that
No,
because
I
they
think
both have the
that's
8:40 start time.
I think that's a double feature because
Double feature. Okay,
yeah,
good.
The Distance Between Us and the Sky is a short film, so I think they show that
Yeah.
before Digger.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Am I
which
not
is,
mistaken? And that's the one that won the short film Palme d'Or a couple of years ago.
oh,
I
it may
Okay.
could
have.
be wrong, but I think it might have.
Very cool, right? Hey, you know, Greek film. It's there's some really great stuff out there.
It's
Winning
out
awards and- yeah, so it's interesting. So I, as Taylor mentioned, you can watch everything like concurrently. I think it's scheduled out in a way that you can just kind of go from one film to another throughout the festival. But I really appreciate, like Taylor had mentioned, the eclectic mix of film here. They have broken the festival up, or at least the selections up into 4 categories. One of them being from the archive, which is a look back on forgotten classics, celebrating Greek auteurs and artists, which are stories by and about Greek artists. Contemporary Greek cinema, which is a selection of recent titles that have garnered interest at other film festivals. And then Greeks in Diaspora, which is just films made by Greek directors from around the world. And so the selections of films fall into those categories. And like we mentioned, I think it's just a really great way to approach having a comprehensive look at Greek film over the course of this festival and that weekend.
Yes, and it seems very lovingly curated. We'll be talking about Greek to Me, whose director is Harry Killis, but he's incidentally also the curator of all the films that were selected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. As speaking of talking about films, let's Taylor, I know you want to dive into one of the films that at least one of the films that is being featured at the festival, and so I'm gonna give you an opportunity to do that. As you mentioned, the film Digger is screening at the Vancouver Greek Film Festival in conjunction with The Distance Between Us and the Sky, and you have had a chance to screen the film ahead of the festival. What do people need to know about it?
Boy, that is tough. I did not have a mental picture in my mind to even go into Digger first. So I'm going to take the reins from you and completely redistribute the rules that you've given me.
Go for it.
I think I'd prefer to begin with Greek to Me, which is a really interesting cinema verite documentary about Harry Killis, who is the curator of many of the films that you'll have a chance to watch at the festival. And it's him looking at his relationship with his father and his father's relationship to Greece and how his father framed that through his father. So it's this man looking at the story of men and their relationship to Greece and how it defines them, but isn't something that they ever really engaged with until the very end of their life. And I think that that's a really, really fascinating theme and tonality. And if I was to leap to Digger at this point, I would say that Digger completely exemplifies that single theme in a very fascinating way, where it is this older man who never really left Greece, but until his son returned, he never really engaged with what meant anything to him, and was a very silent and sallow individual. Moving back to Greek to Me, it's one of the more personal, well curated, like think pieces on someone's own lived experience. We talked about Crows Are White earlier this year, Thomas, as part of Sundance or South by Southwest. I don't remember which one it was.
Sundance, South by Southwest, Tribeca.
Or Hot
you
Dogs.
mentioned it there. Hot Dogs.
they're all pretty consistent at this point. But that's another somewhat self-reflexive cinema verite documentary in which a man is grappling with his past. It's very different, obviously, but there's a lot of similarities here of a man who is in love with film, doesn't really know the project he's making over a long period of years. I mean, at one point he goes into an old bedroom and he takes up a large trash bag and he looks in it and it's just all this film that he'd recorded as a child, and he begins talking about his mother driving him all over Vancouver to make a documentary, like a punk documentary about pollution at the time. And there's just something so charming about that, but also so human, that really, I think, grounds the festival, in my opinion, and gives me an idea of this thing that I don't know much about, which is the history of Greek cinema and just Greek cinema in general. And so I think that it and Digger are really fascinating ways to come into the genre, because they're two different, or I guess subgenre, class, whatever you want to call it, but they're two very well-established ways of getting into that. The cinema verite documentary, in which you're watching the filmmaker as part of the documentary that he's telling, and then the Western film genre. And both of those examining their relationship to the larger country and this sense of paternalism that they have, perhaps stemming from the very country that they hold relation to.
That was very in-depth. Was there anything else you wanted to say about that?
I can leave it there.
I don't know if you spoke thoroughly enough about that.
I apologize if I was not thorough enough.
Okay. Did you get everything out that you wanted to about Digger, though?
I don't think so, but if it's not a conversation that we'll be having back and forth, then I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
I think I mean, I am interested in watching it. I mean, I'm already kind of drawn to contemporary film and things that have movies that have or that emphasize their theme and really bank on that. And so from what I've heard from you about it, that is one that I'm very much looking forward to seeing with the festival. So yeah, Todd, you haven't had a chance to watch anything just yet, right?
I haven't had a chance to watch anything just yet, but I think and kind of the flip side of the coin, as much as I'm looking forward to Digger and Greek to Me and all of these modern films, I'm also really looking forward to seeing The Apaches of Athens, which is a restored film from 1930, one of the earliest dramas that is still around to this day from Greece. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that on a big screen, because one, it's hard to come across anything from the 1930s, 20s, or 40s that's been lost and then restored, especially if it's not from one of the big Western countries like the United States or Canada or the UK. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Not in the sense that I'm expecting a masterpiece per se, but I am expecting it to be at least a really interesting insight into a history of cinema that I just know nothing about. It's like a completely pitch black cave in the 1930s Greek cinema. I've never seen anything from it. I've probably never seen anything that closely approximates it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Do you know if it's a talkie or if it's a silent film?
I have no idea. Okay. It won't really matter because I don't speak Greek, but
well, it will change the way that the film plays.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know though.
I am very sad that I'm going to miss The Apaches of Athens. That is one night.
Let me chime in. So it is a operetta and is considered to be the first Greek sound film. It doesn't say about whether or not they restored the. Oh no, it does say that they put French intertitles with English subtitles. So it very well may have some restored sound to it. Obviously, the reason that's really fascinating is because we went from title cards where it would explain whatever had just happened or is about to happen, and then in talkies you were getting plot while you were moving along. So the way that would play, if it was a talkie, would be really interesting glimpse at early Greek culture of how they viewed having conversations among themselves, even though it's still obviously very heavily policed by their institutions.
Yeah.
And I'm still very disappointed that I can't. I will not be in Vancouver that particular evening. So, yeah, Todd, you're gonna have to report back and let us know how that one.
I will.
that was one that I would have said I was looking forward to if I could make it to that screening. Unfortunately, I cannot. But Maria by Callas, I think, is one that I might try to make it up to check out, and that I'm looking forward to. I'm getting more into documentaries lately, and so I think that this one seems like a very, again, with this Vancouver Greek Film Festival kind of being an educational experience for me. What better way to have that educational experience than with the documentary, right? So this is it's a film that depicts the life of of opera singer Maria Callas. If I'm pronouncing that name right, I'm not sure if I am, but I guess the documentary is done, like, as they say, in her own words, through interviews and letters and performances to tell her story. So this was a film that came out in 2017, I think that it'll be a good one for me to learn about this particular singer and be able to experience this film by I'm losing the
Tom Wolfe, I think.
Tom Wolfe, yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Tom Wolfe.
Cool.
I changed my notes screen and lost it. So Tom Wolfe, right? So yeah, I think that this one falls under celebrating Greek auteurs and artists, and so yeah, it'll be an interesting one if I can get there.
Absolutely.
Father's Day, right? Father's Day matinee.
Yeah, that is true, isn't it? I forgot about that. I should probably.
Thomas is panicking internally.
Thomas is like, oh no, fathers.
I have not planned for this. No.
Luckily,
So yes, by the way, for anyone
very
else,
far from my father.
yes.
So
for anyone else who
not,
might have
not
just
a problem.
not a problem. For anyone else who might have just had a little bit of a panic attack, that would be June 19th. Still a little bit of time. Anyway, any other titles stand out? I think the other thing that I wanted to mention is under celebrating Greek auteurs and artists. The other artist that they are highlighting is Athena Rachel Singari, who has 3 titles at the festival. I think 2 are feature length and 1 is a short, something like that. So yeah, it's nice to get multiple titles from an artist and be able to experience all that in one little package.
Yeah, I really think she's quite interesting because, as I'm not mistaken, she's served as a producer or an executive producer, one of the two, on a couple Lanthimos films, and has been like a staple of the weird wave in Greek. And I believe her 2 feature-length films that are playing at the festival for people that can't make it at Vancouver are also playing on Mubi, if you have Mubi. At least they're playing in Canada on Mubi. So I have no idea what the selection's like in other countries. For example, all the way down there in the United States. But
way down here.
Yeah,
we're so far away.
So yeah, the diasporic United States. So it's exciting to have her at the festival as well.
Very cool. Was there anything else at this festival that anybody wanted to discuss, point out,
I don't believe so. We've talked about everything that I'm interested in, I think, largely. Attenberg is one that I've always meant to get to, so that might be the one that I prioritize the most during this festival. But as you well know, Thomas, I'm an insane person, and I'm trying to watch 10 movies from every decade this year.
That's true.
So if I can get a chance to see the Apaches of Athens, since it's from a different continent than the United States of America in North America, I very well will prioritize that.
That actually is a good point.
Yeah.
A little incentive there for you.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, Taylor, why don't we go ahead and get you to plug where people can find your content?
As we just discussed, I feel like yesterday on that other video we did, all you got to do is go to Drink in the Movies, click that about button, and everything's there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what content do you have publishing here, either now or soon?
Oh, we're wrapping up Atlanta Film Festival stuff. We're doing Tribeca Film Festival stuff. We have Bentonville coming up, and obviously this VGFF.
Yeah, I love it. Todd heard Atlanta. That's
yes, sir.
Home base for you, yeah.
Oh, you're an ATLian. Okay.
I am.
That's funny. Todd, I mean, we kind of have the same plugs, but do you have any content or anything coming soon that people should keep an eye out for?
Well, I'll be covering this festival, writing about at least a couple of the films. I just had my review of Navalny go up on For Real. This is
You
For
did.
Real. So yeah, I mean, same plugs.
Yes.
I'll give it to you to end it.
Of course, yes. So you can find both me and Todd's content for the Vancouver Greek Film Festival, and I'm currently covering Tribeca as well at thisisforreal.com. For real, of course, spelled FORREEL. You can connect.
There's no other way to spell it.
I don't know. Some people have weird things. They put like an A in there somewhere. Like, it's just not cool.
Four?
In four. There's someone out there that probably does that. But you can also when you go to the website, links to social pages are there. You can connect with me personally at being TSJ on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, we're just gonna keep cranking out content. So we appreciate you checking out this video and tuning in to learn more about the Vancouver Greek Film Festival. And until the next time we hop on one of these videos, which I feel like will just be in a couple days, it seems to be the case. But until then, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and for real.